Hi BookTube, it's Amy. I'm here for a chatty sort of video. I've twisted my armchair around to get the tree in the shot, and I've made a cup of Earl Grey tea. And this is just a little chat, a little conversation to talk about the end of my current reading year of 2020 and the beginning of 2021. So obviously, the year end is arbitrary. We tend to make New Year's resolutions and sort of wrap up things in our own minds when the year comes to a close. It's just what we do, and there's really no reason to make a distinction between 2020 or 2021 in my reading, but yet I do. And it's largely, I think, because of GoodReads. And I've used GoodReads for many years until recently. If you've been following me on GoodReads, if you're friends with me on GoodReads, you might have noticed that it has been several months since I updated anything on there. I think I've accepted a few friend requests, but I haven't input my books into the system there. I haven't marked anything as reading or finished. And most people probably haven't noticed. In fact, I don't know if anyone's noticed at all, but a couple months ago, I deleted my 2020 reading challenge. I had gotten to a point earlier in the year when I had read the 60 books I wanted to read. And as I often do when I reach my goal, I changed my goal. I changed the challenge and upped it to 90. And I was getting pretty close to 90 a month or two ago. And I went on and I looked at it and I said, why am I doing this? Don't get me wrong, I've used GoodReads for years. I've enjoyed GoodReads, but I'm at a point in my life, I guess, when I'm trying to minimize all the things. 2020, because of the year it's been, has been a very introspective year for me. I've literally been spending all my time in this apartment with my books. And if I'm not working, I'm either reading, making a video, or I'm watching some Netflix or some TV shows. And so I've really sort of zeroed in on my hobbies and zeroed in on the social media. And there's a lot of social media out there. And it's not to say that social media is overwhelming. Rather, I've gotten bored with it. And I look at certain social media platforms I'm on and I say, why am I doing this? This is a waste of my time. There are other things that I could be doing with my time. And I got off TikTok about a month ago. I had sort of discovered TikTok earlier in the year, and that was a real time suck. I had actually for about a month, I had Twitter and Instagram deleted from my phone, and I was only checking them every couple of days. And I've sort of stepped back from that social media, and GoodReads was one of those apps that I deleted off my phone. And I found that I don't really miss it. I had gotten to the point where all I was doing was using it to keep track of what I was reading. I was playing a numbers game, more or less. And I think this year I've realized that the numbers game doesn't matter to me, and I've been thinking a lot about the role that reading plays in my life. So reading is certainly a big part of what I do and who I am. When people ask for a fun fact about me, it's usually book related. In fact, I'm not sure really who I am without the books. I don't think I could even describe myself without books in the picture somehow. And I've been sitting in this apartment and just thinking lately about the role that books play in my life and the role I want them to play in my life what I'm reading and why I'm selecting what I'm reading. Certainly books are a source of entertainment, but to me they've always been something more. They've been a source of personal growth and education. And I've always sort of had this desire to be working towards something. I've sort of gotten the feeling that I lack a direction, and I really would like there to be a direction in my reading. I would like to be reading with a little bit more purpose. I'd like to sort of shift from that entertainment into a more sort of dedicated and purposeful approach to what I'm reading. Part of where this conversation here is coming from is a video that I watched earlier in the day from Spinster's Library, where she was talking about reading goals and GoodReads and whether or not we should have reading goals, whether we should be looking to read a certain number of books. And I completely agree with her that it's a personal choice and there really is no right answer. We do whatever we want to do when we're reading. Watching her video, all the thinking that I've been doing on the place that reading has in my life sort of culminated in a few basic thoughts about what I want my reading to be in the future. And in some ways, it's already begun to morph in that direction. So I don't want my reading to be about numbers. It was certainly fun, as a teenager when I was in school to try to read a certain number of books. It was an accomplishment, but I don't care about the numbers anymore. It's not a contest. It's not an accomplishment to me to read, 100, 200 books in a year, because I know I can do that. And I feel as though I'm reading in the wrong way for me, as though I'm rushing and missing out on things when I try to consume, as if somehow consuming more books, consuming information is going to make me a more satisfied and well-rounded person. Rather, I would like to stop thinking about the numbers, stop thinking about genre, and rather focus on reading in a way that, first of all, brings me joy and satisfaction. Reading in a way that, leverages my mental focus to the best of my ability. So, like anybody, I only have a certain level of mental focus per day before my brain needs a rest. And certainly, Monday to Friday, I use a lot of that mental focus at work, and I typically have 2 to 3 hours after work where I can focus before I just really need to shut down and watch some TV, watch some booktube, stare at some social media, take a walk, stare out the window, clean the bathroom, just other things. But in those 2 to 3 hours that I have, and in that mental ability that I have on the weekend, I really want to be leveraging that in a way that's going to give me personal satisfaction, and it's going to make me feel accomplished and energized, because I'm the sort of person where if I read the right thing, if I get my brain sort of thinking in the right way, then that continues to keep me motivated, continues to keep me thinking and exploring, and that's when I find satisfaction in the way that I'm reading. And I'd like to read with more purpose, because there's certainly a lot out there to read, and there are many subject areas that I want to explore, but somehow I never get the mental focus or the mental clarity to sit down and actually devote the time to reading those things, to studying those things. So I'm not entirely sure where I'm going with this, but I think what it comes down to is I have different reading goals for the coming year than I normally would. I am done with numbers, I am done with genres, I am done with ratios of where authors come from, and rather I'm focusing on some more introspective goals. I want to sort of determine in my own mind why I'm reading, why I should be reading for my own personal goals, and really think about the role that books and reading play in my life and should play in my life. I want to read with greater focus and with greater purpose. So they certainly are very qualitative goals rather than the usual quantitative goals that I would set for myself. And we'll see how it goes. We'll see what direction this approach to reading takes my channel in, because in addition to thinking about the role that reading plays in my life, I've also been thinking about the role that online platforms play in my life. And I sort of want to get a grip on what I'm doing and what I'm interacting with in my day-to-day life. And as self-centered as it sounds, I'm hoping that this will help me to figure out what I want to do with my life, because obviously I'm done school, I have a job, and yet I am simply here. I am simply existing, and for me that doesn't seem like quite enough. And so I'm hoping I can use my reading life to know myself better and to build my knowledge base and hopefully find the direction that I'm looking for. I'm sorry if this got a little bit too on the existential side of things, but this is just me rambling about my thoughts. Do let me know if you have reading goals in the comments below, and I hope you're having a great December.